because a child was born to us, a son was given to us. Before any star shone that night, before the cry of a baby broke the silence, before angels sang in the heavens, this story was already written, not on human scrolls, but in the heart of the eternal. The birth of Jesus was not a divine improvisation. It was a carefully prepared plan, woven over centuries, hidden in promises, revealed in prophecies, waiting for the exact moment to be manifested. And when the time came, God did not choose palaces. He did not choose thrones. He did not choose centers of power. He chose anonymity. Nazareth was too small to be noticed, too simple to be remembered. And exactly because of that, perfect in the eyes of God, there lived Mary and Joseph, two ordinary young people, without titles, without influence, without any social distinction. They dreamed of a simple life, a modest home, a predictable routine, a story that would begin and end without applause. But while they dreamed of the ordinary, heaven was preparing the eternal. God did not ask for permission. He did not explain every detail. He did not negotiate conditions. He simply called. And the calling came to Mary in an unexpected, profound, and impossible to ignore way. A revelation that crossed all human logic. She was not chosen for her strength, nor for her age, nor for her experience. She was chosen for her willingness. By accepting, Mary did not understand everything, but she trusted. She did not see the entire path, but she took the first step. And in that simple yes, something changed in the universe. The infinite entered the finite. The eternal touched time. God chose to dwell among men. Mary set out for the mountainous region of Judea, carrying more than a child in her womb. She carried a living promise, a word in gestation, a future that no one could yet imagine. When she met Elizabeth, something invisible happened. Two stories aligned, two miracles recognized one another, and heaven confirmed what had begun in silence. It was there that Mary burst into praise. Not a rehearsed praise, not a religious song, but a song that mixed gratitude, awe, faith, and revelation.
My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Savior. For he has looked upon the humility of his servant, and from now on, all generations will call me blessed. The Mighty One has done great things for me. Holy is his name. His mercy extends from generation to generation to those who fear him. With his mighty arm, he has scattered the proud in heart. He has brought down rulers from their thrones and exalted the humble. He has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty-handed. He has helped Israel, his servant, remembering his mercy, as he promised to our ancestors.
After that encounter, Mary returned home, and with her came the shock of reality. Now it was no longer just a spiritual promise. It was something visible, concrete, undeniable. Joseph noticed, and his heart was crushed by a silent dilemma. He was righteous, and precisely because of that, he chose the hardest path, mercy. He could expose her, he could accuse her, he could protect himself, but he chose to protect. While he reflected, heaven spoke again, confirming that it was not human error, but divine fulfillment. Joseph remained. He took responsibility. He obeyed. And then the world moved. A Roman decree echoed throughout the empire. Everyone was to be registered, each in their city of origin. Rome believed it was organizing the world, but without knowing it, it was serving God's plan. Joseph was from the house of David, and David was from Bethlehem. Even at the wrong time, even in the wrong condition, even in the most unlikely moment, they departed. The journey was long, tiring, silent. Each step carried expectation. Each mile brought them closer to the fulfillment of the promise. Upon arriving in Bethlehem, they found closed doors, hurried hearts, no place prepared. There was no space. There was no comfort. There was no honor. Only one simple place remained, cold, improvised. And it was there, in the most unlikely environment, that God decided to be born. The pain came. The night advanced. The world slept. And while no one noticed, the king was born. Not in gold, but in straw. Not in applause, but in silence. Meanwhile, in the fields, simple men watched over their flocks, and the sky tore through the darkness. Glory appeared to those who were never invited to palaces. The news came first to the forgotten. The Savior had been born. Hope had arrived. Peace had touched the earth. Shepherds ran. Heaven celebrated. But not everyone received this news with joy. In the east, wise men observed the sky. A different star, an ancient sign. They understood. A king had been born. This news crossed deserts, reached the corridors of power, and disturbed Herod. A new king meant threat, loss of control, end of dominion. The scriptures were consulted, and they pointed to Bethlehem, small, discreet, exactly how God likes to act. While heaven fulfilled promises, the earth reacted, and the story had not yet reached its end. While heaven celebrated the birth of the king, the earth revealed another kind of reaction. Not everyone saw that child as hope. Some saw him as a threat. In the palace, words were spoken softly, but they carried dark intentions. Herod pretended devotion, but his heart burned with fear. He wanted to know the exact location, the exact time, the exact moment, not to worship, but to eliminate. The Magi departed following the star, not an ordinary star, but a sign that seemed to obey only the will of God. It reappeared. It moved. It guided until it stopped. There, exactly there. There was no throne. There was no army. There was no gold scattered on the floor. There was a child, simple, fragile to human eyes, but carrying eternity within himself. They bowed down, not by tradition, but by recognition. Gold, frankincense, myrrh, gifts that spoke more than words. Royalty, divinity, sacrifice. In that simple house, heaven once again touched the earth. But the same God who guided by the star also protected through a dream. Warned of the danger, the Magi did not return by the same way. They obeyed the voice of God and departed in silence. The palace kept waiting. Herod's plan was frustrated, and the child was guarded by heaven. And now, before continuing, pause for a moment. If God was able to protect his plan in the midst of so much opposition, what can he not do today in your life? If this story is already touching your heart, do not ignore this moment. Keep watching, stay until the end, because what comes next is not just history, it is revelation. Time passed. 40 days later, Mary and Joseph went up to Jerusalem, not with riches, not with display. They brought the child to the temple and offered the sacrifice of the humble. 2 young doves, nothing grand in human eyes, but sufficient in the eyes of God. And there, in that same temple, someone was waiting. Simeon, a righteous man, full of the Spirit, marked by a promise. He lived waiting for the consolation of Israel, day after day, year after year. God had told him his eyes would not close before seeing the Messiah, and on that day he saw him. When he took the child in his arms, Simeon was not holding just a child. He was holding the fulfillment of centuries. There was the promised salvation, prepared not only for Israel, but for all peoples, a light for the nations, a glory for the people of God. But along with hope came also the warning. That child would be a divider of paths, a cause of falling for some, a rising for others. He would be a sign of contradiction, loved by many, rejected by so many others. And for Mary, a deep pain would pierce her soul, because through the life of that child, hearts would be revealed. The prophecy did not end there. It crossed time. It crossed generations. It reached us. That baby grew, walked among men, touched the rejected, healed the wounded, loved the forgotten. And at the right time, he gave himself. He fulfilled every word spoken in that temple, every promise announced, every plan of heaven. Today, his light still shines, still calls, still confronts. Simeon's question continues to echo. Before Jesus, does your heart open or hide? Because he remains the same. The fall of our pride, the rising of our hope, our salvation. If this story spoke to you, do not let this moment pass. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to the channel to continue walking through these stories. And reflect, what will you do with Jesus? Because he did not come just to be remembered at Christmas, he came to transform lives, including yours.